Welcome. Today we're going to be installing motors on the R3D Shifters Carbon 2.5. Let's get into it. So we are going to be installing the T motor. This is the 1106, a 6000 kV motor. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. This is an underpowered motor. And indeed, it is. And I'm not worried about that. I'm going for an efficiency build because this is going to be a pretty lightweight quad. For a small build like this, I usually keep a piece of paper towel close by just to keep the small parts on so they don't roll off the table. So I'm going to take one of these TPU feet and install it just like that. There's a little opening and that slides right over the frame like that. Line up the motor hulls. So what you want to avoid is putting this screw too far into the motor. So I want that no further than that inside of the motor. When you start getting into something like this, now you're risking running that screw into the motor windings on the stator. So if you're using these same motors, you're going to want a 1.5 Allen key. Start your screw just like that, and then go ahead and place your motor with the wires facing into the center of the quad. Okay, what I've been doing is get your screw started in the TPU, and then once you're into the actual frame, the screw kind of picks up and starts threading itself, and then it will thread straight into the motor. On this particular setup, be very aware that the screws are coming through. I don't know if I can show you that. The other thing you might have noticed too is I am not putting Loctite on this build. These are very tiny motors. These screws are fairly snug, and I don't know that it's really necessary. If it is, I will certainly let you guys know. So as you can see, the screws do come through just a tiny bit. It doesn't look like it's enough to cause any issues. The smaller screws that this does come with are not going to fit into the motor. Just be advised that the screws right here closest to these wires quite possibly could pinch those wires. It doesn't look like it's going to be an issue in this build at all, but it is a possibility. There's the first motor installed. And what I'm going to do is just give these a slight snug. In a cross pattern. I will repeat this for the remainder of the 3 motors. So there is all 4 motors installed. Next, we're going to install the Acon AK32 4-in-1 PDB. First, we have to take the cage apart. So to do that, we take our same 1.5 Allen key and we remove these 3 sides. There's one. Now, under the front end, one more screw. Going to remove the 4 nuts on top of the cage. So then you just pull the front of the cage off, which this part has the camera housing in it. Just pull straight that way. And this comes straight off. Put those aside. Now we have access to this. What I'm going to do is remove one of these webs. And these come with a little rubber band to mount smaller devices onto. I'm gonna move that out of the way for now. I'm also gonna pull this one off too. So our PDB, I'm gonna put like this. And if you notice, kind of moves around. So in with this PDB, they were nice, and they gave us these little mounting blocks. And they've got a little rounded part on top. So they kind of fit right in there. So I'm going to utilize these smaller ones for the base of this. And the easiest way to do this is just to place these directly on the quad. Like so. Now I want the power wire off the back of the quad. So I'm going to place it right like that. So this will be able to sit inside of the back of the quad like that. Okay, so I'm going to twist these like that. I'm going to wrap these around this standoff. And then I'm going to cut these a little bit longer. So right about there. Take them aside, strip them back, just like that. I'm going to take my angled nippers and pinch these all like this. Set that right like that. Now I'm going to pre-tin all these wires. I'm also going to go ahead and pre-tin these motor wire pads. Next, I will connect the motor wires to the PDB. When connecting these, it does not matter which wire goes where, as long as these 3 pads are for this motor, these 3 pads are for this motor, these 3 for here, and these 3 for here. For those of you that need to know, that's motor 1, that's motor 2, that's motor 4, and that's motor 3. This quad is facing me. I'll show you that the proper way in a second. I'm just going to add a little bit of heat to this and connect my motor wire right there. Okay, I flipped the quad around so it is facing forwards just to give you a better look at this. Motor 1 is here, motor 2 is here. Motor 3 is here. Motor 4 is here. So as long as you are going to the proper motor pads, it doesn't matter which one of these 3 pads you hook these 3 wires to. And there it is. The motors are connected to the PDB. That's how to install motors on the R3D Shifters Carbon 2.5. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, give me a thumbs up. And just punch that subscribe button, because you only get to do it once, and it's fun. And I'll catch you later. Peace!